So I think the one thing that I would always focus on is the person who I think can really give a good understanding of the problem in the marketplace that they're trying to solve. I think after seeing this good understanding of the problem, if you like, that this person has got this really good clarity and definition over this problem, it is then about their ability to be able to make the product, and how do they think about that, and are they thinking about it in terms of IT, or are they thinking about it in terms of the product features? And I certainly prefer the latter, where somebody is able to talk, incessantly about, like, oh, well, these are all the features of the product that I'm going to bring to market, and this is why there will be adoption of these things. So this kind of understanding that it's having identified the problem, that I can actually make the product and I can bring this product to market. And I think what a lot of people then have to realise is that nowadays it's very hard to do that on your own, because there's so many different complex issues involved in terms of going to market, in terms of monetizing, particularly from an online perspective as well, building your brand online. And therefore it's very hard to do these things alone. So another good quality in a startup is somebody who realises that he's a member of a team, and that he's not actually just somebody out there on his own, but he needs to build around him a group of people, and that group of people need to share that same type of understanding as well, that they understand the problem out in the marketplace, they believe in the vision that they can create this product to solve this problem, and therefore as a team that they will succeed. So I think that's kind of, there are one or two of the other things that I would look for as well at the start. As a startup, you're often very highly innovative, right? And then as an established company, though, you've got to focus on operations. So often there's this clash between what is the operational drive that you might have and the drive to continue to innovate. So you have to be very careful that you do manage both of these things as you grow as well. And this means bringing more management talent into your company as a scaling. And I think that you then reach a certain point where you realise that this is now, working, and I'm continuing to operate this business successfully. I'm continuing to grow, I'm continuing to get new customers. And I think that one of the biggest lessons for us was then, at some stage, you become very much strategy driven. So you've got to transform your whole company then, yet again. So you go through all these phases of growth almost, and these different stages of evolution of the company, like, from one era to the next. And certainly for us then, we got to this point where we were customer led for so long, and then we realised that there was actually another stage beyond that again, which was to be market led, and to actually look at the marketplace in a very whole way and say, right, now we can make something even bigger. And then that meant that we had to be very much led from a point of view where our strategy was, and what was our strategy, and how were we going to articulate the strategy as well. Now, there's the external marketplace and what's happening out in the world at the moment, and I like to put all of my problems into two categories, like those things that I can't do anything about and those that I can do something about. And there's an awful lot of the problems out there that I really can't do anything about that. Like, there's nothing I can do. If I can't get my access to credit, if I can't raise funds, well, then I can't. Right? It's just that option is not open to me. So I have to find another way to get something done. And that's, I think, at the early stages, like, and particularly, people would say that, like, it's a very tough time at the moment. But I know when I left my job in 2000, like, it was also a very tough time, and there was little or no funding available for a long time for any startup companies at that time as well. And that option was closed to me. So it was in the right-hand side here. It was a problem I could do nothing about. I couldn't. So the only way we fixed that was we went to family and friends, and we went to people, and we begged and borrowed all the bits and pieces that we needed to get the company up and running in the early days. So you find that sometimes, there's a way to get what you need to get done, even though the external environment is just awful. And it is awful. And I mean, I think the biggest issue perhaps today is that of credit, and organizations that are maybe, even scaling, and they're seeking the availability of credit, and they don't get that credit. And that'd be kind of the number one concern I would have at a kind of a market level, from point of view. I think the people are still the same. I mean, I see people coming in now to Enterprise Earned and presenting, say, on the iGAP program or on the Competitive Start Fund, and they're brilliant. But they are constrained, obviously, by the environment and these problems which are out there in the marketplace. But then they find ways to overcome that, The Competitive Start Fund, like, is €50,000 for 10%. And what you can do with €50,000 a day, you might have needed $500,000 for 10 years ago to do the same job, because you can do so much more now today. And they're also technically very strong, the people that I would see, certainly the startups and the founders that are coming to us. So I think people are kind of, they recognise that the environment is always going to be an issue, and it will always be an issue, no matter when you start your business. but it should never let you stop you from starting the business, is what I would say. You'd always go ahead anyway, because it's never going to be a situation where that's all going to improve and it's going to be much better and it's all going to be available to you. That just won't happen. So you start it now and you work within the context of where that environment is. The best advice I think that I got was to constantly circulate through your network. So establish yourself a very good network of people, friends and whatever it might be, people within the community, acquaintances that you know within the different sectors in which you work, and circulate through that network on a very frequent basis and talk to people. And that for me was the best thing that we did, that we knew lots of people. And I would have stayed in touch with people and told them exactly what was going on, where we're at, and people would recognise that things often take twice as long and cost 3 times as much than that which you think they're going to do at the start. And they're extremely supportive. And the one thing about people is that when you ask for help, you realise that people actually like to help. And so you do get the help as well. So I think the best advice I would say is, like, get yourself a big network of people, and ask for their help, and they'll probably give it to you.